This video is brought to you by Gamepass. Use code MHB at checkout for 10% off your next order. There's 3 things guaranteed in life: death, taxes, and a new Call of Duty every year. Since Call of Duty 2 back in 2005, there hasn't been a single year without a new Call of Duty, and for a long time, I was in that yearly cycle. I played Call of Duty year round, eagerly awaited the new game to drop, and did it all over again. I did this for games I didn't even really enjoy in the series, like Ghosts or World War II, and I thought for whatever reason, I just would always be locked into this cycle. Well, that was until Modern Warfare 3's reboot, where I was just like, I think that's me done. I wasn't the biggest fan of the Modern Warfare 2 reboot, especially multiplayer wise, so the fall off was already happening, but Modern Warfare 3 just killed it altogether, and I said to myself, alright, I'm breaking the cycle. No more buying Call of Duty day dot, I'm out. And then Xbox had to go and make Black Ops 6 available day 1 on Game Pass, which meant my buddies were definitely going to be playing, and so here we are. Now again, I wasn't really anticipating much from this game. I didn't watch the trailers, the gameplay reveals, or even check out the beta. However, the last Call of Duty that I felt was the complete package and had an absolute blast with was Black Ops Cold War, so I had a sliver of hope that maybe, just maybe, this game could get this series back on track. And to my surprise, it seems to have done that. At least with the campaign, which was the big talking point last year for Modern Warfare 3. So is Black Ops 6 as good as everyone says? Well, now that I've finished the campaign, I've played a good 15 hours of the multiplayer already, and I've dabbled in the zombies. I'm ready to answer that question. What I will say right off the bat though is if you're not a fan of Call of Duty and never have been, I don't think this game will change your mind. This is more so a game to bring old time fans back. Let's start with the campaign first, because again, Modern Warfare 3's campaign was easily, by far and away, the worst Call of Duty campaign to date, being a Warzone reskin with a rush together story. I didn't want to see that again, especially from the Black Ops series, which I think everyone can agree has some of the best stories in the series. For those campaign fans out there, this genuinely might be one of the best in the series, definitely the best in recent years. Black Ops has always had these really interesting stories, being so involved in the CIA and engaging that conspiracy theory side of things, which I am a sucker for, instead of just the standard conflict. But Black Ops 6 really leans into that CIA covert side of things to the point where this is a very different style of campaign that I'm not sure everyone will like, but I absolutely love. I'm not going to spoil the story or some of the really wild missions that I think are best experienced for yourself, but in terms of the story, I think it's great. It's captivating, it has your attention from beginning to end. As always with Black Ops, there's a great mystery or whodunit that you want to learn more about. The characters are all really great to have by your side, especially as you switch perspectives quite a few times, and the conclusion is really satisfying. There's of course your typical Call of Duty moments involved in the campaign, and on the surface is still a similar story of terrorist organization wants to destroy America type thing. But it's much more in-depth and engaging than that, with the plot twists, lots of undercover work as opposed to open war zones, even some story moments that reminded me a lot of Control. Not surprising given Control is essentially a supernatural CIA, but from a Call of Duty perspective is a great breath of fresh air and provides a whole lot of holy crap moments as a result. I'm also glad they continued the safe house mechanic from Cold War, as it gives a lot of the missions room to breathe and allows those action-packed or oh my god moments to stay with the player for much longer. Plus it lets you form that deeper connection with your crew with optional dialogue, voice recordings to expand on the past, and a completely optional house-based puzzle for some extra goodies. They also have implemented an upgrade system with the safe house, where you can spend money you find in missions on things like upgrading yourself with armor plates, general perks, and weapon handling or damage that I really enjoyed, and makes me want to revisit the campaign a few more times as a result to see just how OP you can get with it all. In terms of the missions themselves, again, they're much more varied than past games. They're still your classics, very linear with lots of enemies to take out along the way, and again big action scenes, but you also have more in-depth stealth missions that give you options missions as to how you want to approach them. Some in which you can completely ignore it if you want and just raise hell, and others like this mission based on sabotaging an enemy base, where you can do so in a good number of different ways depending on your skill with stealth and observation. I like the variety a lot, it makes the missions feel different from one another. The big red flag I got though was when I loaded into a very open world style of level. I immediately got flashbacks of Modern Warfare 3 and I was like, this campaign is so good, why did they do this? But when I actually played it, it's much more thought out than that. Still not my favorite mission in the game, but it's not just making Warzone a mission. You have optional objectives you can complete, you get rewarded for doing so with either more cash for your upgrades at the safe house or badass score streaks like the chopper gunner, and the objectives are pretty good with lots of options as to how you want to approach them depending on the task. Do you go in stealthily? Do you drive in without a care and see how long you can last? Do you just sit back and use a score streak you found earlier and avoid the drama? Again, overall I do think it overstays its welcome, at least if you want to do everything in the mission, but much better than I gave it credit for in the beginning. In terms of negatives, I don't really have a lot outside of some missions. Even the really awesome and crazy ones can feel a little too drawn out. Like, I get it, I need 4 keycards and again, dope mission, but why not 2 or 3? Just cut it down a little to keep the pace of the story going. Outside of that, I'm really having a hard time thinking of anything that really caught my eye and took away from this experience. I had a blast from beginning to end, it's a nice 7 or so hour campaign, and it's overall got a great pace to the story, giving you enough time to take in what you just played before one-upping itself. If you haven't touched a Call of Duty campaign in a while or you play them all, this is a great one that I think deserves to be experienced. I mean, hell, I always play the campaign before jumping into multiplayer or zombies, but some are harder than others to convince myself to stick it through. I had no issue doing that here, not to mention I'm very much down to play it again in the near future, which almost never happens. Next up, we'll touch on the zombies experience quickly, because again, I'm not a zombies type of guy. I enjoy the mode, I have fun with my buddies playing, but for me, it's very much a see how many rounds we can survive type of thing, more than getting wrapped up in the stories and Easter eggs. Just a heads up, because people buy these games for different reasons, and if you are interested in Black Ops 6 solely for the zombies experience, I'm sure there's plenty of other reviews that can go more in depth, but here's my thoughts from my time with the mode so far as a very casual fan. Zombies has been a neglected mode for quite some time now, despite being in recent entries. Modern Warfare 3 Zombies wasn't something I despise, but just again felt like we don't have time, let's make it Warzone and call it a day, and Vanguard Zombies was just a complete swing and a miss. The last quality entry, in my opinion, was with Cold War once again, and I just wanted to get back to the much more classic zombies experience rather than all these experiments. So what do I think of the zombies mode this time around? From a casual perspective, I enjoyed myself in both maps. I personally preferred Terminus out of the two, but I think that's just because I find the setting more interesting and the map layout to feel more zombies-like than Liberty Falls. Liberty Falls reminds me a lot of Outbreak from Cold War purely in aesthetic, as it's not this massively open map, and I enjoyed Outbreak for what it was, but again, I was ready for a more traditional zombies experience, and I got that feeling a lot more in Terminus. With that being said, I did snag a wonder weapon on Liberty Falls, and that was awesome. All in all though, I think both maps have a nice layout, they're interesting to explore, and my favourite part is how quickly you can go from unstoppable to, oh, I've taken a wrong turn and now I'm toast. This is more so a first impressions of zombies, as I've just played it for a couple of hours solo to get a feel for the maps, and I will sink more time into the mode with some friends, but again, as a casual zombies enjoyer, I definitely enjoyed my time with these maps so far. But now for the meat and potatoes for me and many others. It's time to talk multiplayer. This was the element of the game I wanted to love again the most. Again, I've been playing Call of Duty for close to 2 decades now, and played the multiplayer year round, but the past couple of entries I finally experienced the burnout and played the multiplayer less and less. The combination of the new prestige system, lackluster original maps, and constantly trying to keep up with the new meta just became exhausting, and I thought, maybe I'm just done. Well, that was until Black Ops 6 released, and I'm right back to where I was. Again, a lot of these changes are to appease the longtime fans, like bringing back the classic prestige system, not relying solely on already done to death maps, and as well as some fun new game modes have meant I've been playing this as much as possible. The biggest plus on the multiplayer side of things is definitely the maps. Whether they're reimagined or brand new, I haven't stumbled across a map I outright hate. I definitely prefer the much smaller maps just to keep the action flowing, but instead of solely relying on Shipment or Nuketown, the new additions in Subsonic, Babylon, and Derelict are all maps I have an absolute blast with no matter the game mode. They're all chaotic small maps but have decent cover and strategy to them, unlike Shipment, which I'm a huge fan of. But even the medium to larger maps I've had fun learning and playing on. I can't tell you how refreshing it is to see a map get selected and not get an instant feeling of dread, and it means that I don't have to wait until a single map playlist is around to get the only map I can be bothered playing. It means the maps don't grow stale, and I don't question what the hell I'm doing with my life as I grind for camos, which is a huge plus. I haven't experimented too much with each weapon class as I'm really enjoying the SMGs at the moment, but I do love the new addition of specialty perks, where if you equip perks in all slots of the same color, you get an extra bonus on top of that, meaning much less people, at least for now, are running Ghost because for once, there's actual competition between perks. I've again only really played around with the Recon specialty for all the blue perks, but that is immensely useful, especially on close quarter maps as you get to see where enemies are for a brief moment upon each respawn. Before this, I pretty much had the same perks no matter the class because Ghost and Cold Blooded were just too good to refuse, but now I like mixing it up from class to class and it feels worthwhile to mix and match depending on your loadout. In terms of game modes, I am still a sucker for Domination and Hardpoint, but a new favourite of mine and something I've been having a blast with is Kill Order. A mode that in most ways just plays like Team Deathmatch, but with one person on the team being a high value target, getting some armor in exchange for constantly being highlighted to the enemy team. I tell you, when you start popping off as the target and you have a good team around you, this is a blast, and it works so well again, no matter the map size. I had as much fun on Subsonic in this mode as I did something like Protocol. Plus, even if the target dies, they can still get some shots in, meaning you need to be cautious, and it's not game over when the target dies. They're just worth more points. I seriously think I have a new favorite mode. I was giddy every time this one popped up, and that hasn't happened since the first time I played Kill Confirmed back on the original Modern Warfare 3. The Omni movement system was by far the aspect I was hearing the most buzz about before launch, and it's solid. It feels fluid, gives you much more options in a pinch or to surprise your enemies, and means more than ever you can turn on people. That does wonders rather than always feeling like, oh, I got shot, guess I'm cooked, because the time to kill was always minuscule. I haven't used the body shield mechanic much either, but have had it done to me, and it's terrifying in all the best ways. I think more than anything though, I'm just having fun grinding on Call of Duty again. I'm having fun going after the camos, I'm having fun learning the new maps, I'm having fun testing out the weapons, perks, loadouts, even just leveling up. It feels good to be having fun with Call of Duty again, and the only thing that makes me nervous about this aspect is how quickly it can fall on its ass. Being a live service game, a review on the multiplayer has a certain shelf life. What I say today may not be relevant in a month or 3. I think they set a solid foundation, and right now at launch I'm having a blast, but it can turn so quickly, so I want to make that clear. Whether it be monetization, bad maps, broken metas, and content creators just taking all the fun out of the game with a million different best loadout videos. It's all something to be aware of going forward, but as of now is a blast to play. I haven't even noticed huge swings in the skill-based matchmaking as of yet that feel like I'm being punished for having a good game, but again, it's early days, so we'll see how that holds up in time. But overall, as of this review, I'm having so much fun with the multiplayer, and whether it's new additions or going back to what worked, it's a great offering in the multiplayer space, and I haven't felt that way in a long time. So, is Call of Duty Black Ops 6 as good as everyone says it is? If you haven't figured it out by now, hell yeah it is. I know every year there's those creators who will dub every Call of Duty release with best COD ever, but this year it might actually be it. There is actual care put into this game for once, whether it be the unique campaign that mixes in Call of Duty staples and more freedom of expression and conspiracy-like content. The zombies offering without question is the best we've had in years, and I'm excited to play more, and the multiplayer just makes me feel like I've gone back to high school after a long day of school and playing Call of Duty until the early hours with my buddies. Again, if you're not a Call of Duty fan or have never been all that interested, then I don't think this game is so drastically different that you'll change your mind. However, if you're a long-time fan like myself and have been wanting for the Call of Duty experience of old with a complete package, then Black Ops 6 is that game. If you're on the fence though and have an Xbox or PC, give the game a shot on Game Pass. This being day one on Game Pass is the whole reason I gave this game a shot in the first place, and it did not disappoint. I hope this is the new standard for the series and we don't have another Modern Warfare 3 anytime soon. Thank you all so much for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like and subscribe. Comment below your thoughts on Black Ops 6 if you played the game for yourself. Shout out to the channel members and Twitch subscribers for that extra level of support, and special thanks to the members of the Bear Club, G&T Papi, Jackie White, Nugget, Dark Wolf, Daniel Fitzgerald, Scott Unwin, Steel Vanguard, NPO Crusader, and Lug Knights. Thank you all, and I'll catch you in the next one.